Hit record, Miss Lassick. Dang it. Okay, hi, recording now. Oops. So some AP news. I did forward some of you that information, but in case you haven't had a chance to read, the College Board has changed all the AP exams to be actually done at home online. The exams will be 45 minutes, real short, and they'll be offered at 2 different date times. So I think they're trying to be flexible that each exam is offered on 2 different days. And then it looks like they are all free response. And so I think that's good and bad news. I think it's good news because you guys are kicking butt at free response. I think it's bad news because sometimes it's nice to have that balance of multiple choice. So we will definitely be prepping for that. We don't have the dates yet. They'll be coming out on April 3rd. So I'll know on April 3rd exactly when all the dates are. And the other good news is that they've already established what the AP test will be on for which units to cover. And we've pretty much covered the whole material. So they pretty much stopped with finding like t-tests, and that will be like the cutoff. So the other 2 chapters we haven't covered will not be on the exam, which believe it or not, on the practice test that you guys did, at least 2 of the multiple choice and no, like 4 of the multiple choice and 1 of the free response on the practice test was stuff that won't be covered and that we haven't covered. So good news is we've already seen all the material. Questions about that?
Do you know if for every exam it will be just free response?
That's the way it seems. For every exam, it will be 45-minute free response.
All right.
The other thing they talked about is that depending on your technology availability, they'll even accept you writing your free response on a paper and then taking a picture of it. So it sounds like they're being really flexible about how you're going to upload that information. So I know a few of you have already reached out to me about graphing calculators that some don't have or you've lost. Are there, besides Grace and Freya, are there any others who do not have access to a graphing calculator for the next, let's say, month? Everyone's good with graphing calculators? Okay, awesome. Love the thumbs up, thank you. So Freya, did you reach out to Darlene yet? Hold on, let me unmute you.
Oh, sorry. I can also just buy one too. I was just wondering if that was something I would like definitely need, but it seems like yes.
Well, and I guess it also depends on what you may do next year for math. If you are gonna take more math, you know, it's kind of, I don't wanna say it's an investment, but the other thing is you could easily, I know Darlene's already gone into my room and set up an appointment with Grace to go pick it up, but you can borrow one from me.
Okay, yeah, I can borrow one from Darlene, that works.
Okay, make sure she gives you a yellow one. I told her to give you guys a yellow one, so. Okay, so anyone else need graphing calculator issue? No? Okay. So the last thing is, it looked like already a lot of you had joined, but I sent you a link to something called the Stats Medic. It said like COVID 2019 or COVID-19 schools Stats Medic. We're going to use, I think, this online review program pretty heavily, just because I think it's, number one, it's super quality, and I can set it up for like 3 weeks of pure preparation. And their units are aligned with our textbook, which is really nice. So if you haven't already, please join. And actually, I'm just gonna go ahead and share so you can see. Tell me, are you able to see my window? So what you should be seeing is the class. It says COVID-19 schools 2020. I don't know what yours looks like. I'm reloading it to show which students are currently logged in. Come on, come on, come on. Wake up, wake up. So it looks like the following students, so Addison, Ella, Kat, Grant, Sasha, Cliff, who's not joining us today, Emma, Tyler, Kendall, Ricky, Freya, Bryson. So it looks like Elias, I haven't seen you join in yet. Grant, did I say your name? Oh yeah, you're in there. Has anyone else not joined? So just make sure you join. And what I'll be doing is on Google Classroom is kind of trying to set up with you like the units and how much and when. So I'll provide kind of a guideline as to how much you have to do and when things are due. We are going to, let's see, not new share, stop share. So just to let you guys know, hopefully in the next couple days, you'll be hearing from us or the school as to what the schedule is like. So I know a lot of you are kind of, or I'm assuming you're kind of anxious to know like what's expected, when, what's happening. So we're still trying to figure out the ultimate schedule. So stay tuned in the next day or two. Obviously our schedule won't start till Monday, okay? So the next, like today, tomorrow, and Friday, teachers will just start to be reaching out to you saying, hey, are you getting my stuff? Are you on my Google Classroom? So are there questions about that? Okay. All right, we've got a clap. Owen's clapping, awesome. So let's see. So you need to log into Stats Medic. Okay, Ella, goodbye. See you next time. We will be sending you a schedule as to what's due when. We're going to try to make it reasonable so that way you're not bombarded, but also have kind of like a routine set. And then in terms of this class alone, I'm going to try to make it manageable. I know that there's a lot going on. A lot of you are working. I hope those that are working, you're taking really serious precautions, washing hands, and yeah. So do you have any general questions for me about the class, kind of school?
So like I know other districts, like my friends have been telling me what their school districts are doing, and they've already like reached out solid plans with like you know, like what if we miss a Zoom? Like what if we miss a lesson? Are we gonna get penalized, or is it just gonna be like if you think you need help or more further instruction, like join the Zoom, but if you think you got it, like you're good?
That's a great question. I think each teacher is going to be kind of different about that. I think there's going to be only some teachers who are going to do actual live Zooms. A lot of teachers, I think, have the idea of videotaping and then sending it up to you so that you can look at it at what works for you and your schedule. I would also say that I forgot what I already lost my train of thought. As I said, I think it's going to be, depending on the teacher. But we're going to set up a schedule that you're not going to find, kind of like what happened with Miss J today, where she was doing a Zoom at the same time as me. So that's why we're going to have a schedule, so that way you know that you're not going to have to be like, oh, who do I want to see, stats, or do I need to see, Mr. Grech? Like, I don't know.
And do we think it's going to be like a system of like we're going to have Zooms or like some kind of lesson every day? Or do you think it's going to be like kind of stagnant like other districts are doing?
I think it's teacher based. For me, okay. I think my goal, at least with this class particularly, is I'll provide, learning opportunities, and then I will try to do office hours, almost like this, where you can come on and ask me for help. I have 2 little ones who are confined to the house. They happen to be outside of the house today. So realistically, you know, some teachers have nothing going on, so they can be available all day. And I'm realistically maybe get an hour where I can stick my phone in front of the computer for an hour and get quiet time. So I really think it will depend on the teacher.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. And to be really frank, a lot of this will be kind of fluid. You know, we may start out the first week, and I'm saying that for all teachers, start out the first week going, you know, this is what I think is going to happen. And then we might find it doesn't work for our students and it doesn't work for us, and then we'll have to be flexible. I talked to the superintendent yesterday, and it sounds like, I guess I want to be realistic with you guys. Mr. Dunkel didn't say this to our staff, but I'm going to tell you. Los Angeles County, San Bernardino County, and I forget a third Southern California county has already issued a statement pretty much that they will be doing distance learning all the way through May 3rd. And teachers will be back May 1st. And right now, the superintendent of all of Sonoma County is meeting with the superintendent of Napa and Marin, and they're coming up with kind of like a big statement all together. And I have a very strong feeling, and that's what the superintendent said, Tony Beal, that that's probably what we're going to see. That all of Sonoma County, Napa County, and Marin County will probably follow suit. So I found that comforting to be able to just have in my head that this is now probably for the next 5 weeks, and you know that this is going to be our new normal. I don't know. I know that's not exciting, but you know, for me that was helpful to like have a date in my mind. And what the superintendent said is you know, that they would reassess mid-April to see if that's realistic or not. Owen. Owen? It looks like your hand is raised. Oh, no, I unmuted you. All right, let's try again. How about that? No? All right, now you're ready. You're good. There you go.
I was wondering, so since like AP doesn't cover the last 2 chapters, is the rest of the year pretty much just going to be AP review?
Yeah, that's going to be probably my focus at this point, is going to be from now until the AP test is just going to be to look backwards and kind of start like getting stronger at some of the older stuff. And then after the AP, depending on if we're back in school or not back in school, I guess I'll reassess if we will move forward or maybe do a project or something.
Okay, so just so I completely understand, are we learning any new material right now, or is it all review?
I think at this point it's going to be all review. The only thing we didn't really do is we didn't really finish, I think chapter 11 was t-tests with means, but because we had already done t-tests with confidence intervals and then z-tests, I feel that you guys may be able to handle this on your calculator already. So as we review, maybe we'll meet that t-tests for means, but we kind of already know how to do it.
Okay, cool. All right,
yeah.
Thank you.
Great question, thank you. By the way, I think you guys can unmute yourselves, right?
Oh, yeah, I think you can.
Yes.
Cool. Other
Yes.
questions? All right. Before we sign off, I guess I wanted to check, are you feeling overwhelmed about this idea of distance learning? Are you feeling like, I know a lot of you maybe are kind of bored or, you know, itchy to move, but in terms of like school, I guess I'm curious where you guys are at. Emma, what was the? Go ahead, unmute yourselves. Unmute yourselves if you feel.
It just feels kind of like, it just feels really uncertain, especially for some classes that are so especially conversation based within the lesson. it just seems like, I don't know, like not, I don't know, I guess like we're still technically face to face, but like not being like in the room together kind of takes away that, like, you know, what am I trying to say? It's just different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely kind of worried with some of my teachers that are like less tech savvy. I'm definitely kind of worried as to like how that's going to go. And then like this idea of like if we have homework, like taking pictures of everything and uploading it, I feel like it's going to be a really long process. And like, I don't know if my Wi-Fi can handle that, you know, like I don't want to get docked because I can't upload stuff. So I don't know. And then obviously it's like senior year and I'm doing a lot with the arts, and it just kind of feels like personally, like it just kind of feels like my 4 years of pushing for like these great performances and like pushing to like higher my learning was kind of all for nothing. Like at this point, like the dance show is probably canceled and Footloose is probably canceled. I feel like I have nothing to look forward to at this point.
I can understand that. I do think that's why a lot of schools are kind of pushing to try to get back in session by May or end of May, so that particularly for the senior class, you guys have, you know, some of the awesomeness of senior year and get to finish that out. I mean, unfortunately, this is unprecedented. It's the most I can equate it to is like what our parents or grandparents, or not maybe your parents, but my parents and grandparents, you know, of like wartime, that we've never experienced anything like that. And we're trying to figure it out. I guess the one thing I can remind you is that a lot of parents, teachers, administrators are very aware of the poopiness of this situation and are trying to find ways that we can still have, as Sasha said, that connection, that, you know, the connection, but also have the fun at the end. So I think the more we do our social distancing, the more likely we can come back together and get to do all the really fun stuff. And I hear you. I hear you. So in terms of the non-techie teachers, so thanks, Kendall, you've only heard from a few of them. I'm doing, a bunch of us teachers going to do some trainings for teachers tomorrow morning. So I know that there's some teachers that are unaware of how to use Google Classroom, how to use Zoom. So stay tuned. And yes, some teachers, I guess they say you can teach old dog new tricks, but sometimes I don't think you can. So we'll see what happens. And if you have any issues or concerns with what's happening with teachers, please let me know, and I'm happy to pass it on and get those teachers tech help that they need. What else? Oh, okay. Thanks, Kendall. I got your info. Yeah, she's going to be attending a meeting. Some of these teachers are going to be already, I know, attending a meeting tomorrow to train. So that some teachers need a little help. Yeah. Oh, let's see. And I think there was one other thing. Oh, Jackson, you. Yeah, hey.
Can you put me on the list for calculator?
Yes. So Jackson, what I'm going to actually have you do is email or call Darlene. Darlene's handling all my graphing calculators. And if you just email her, she'll set up an appointment for you to come pick it up.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead, Kat. Oh, sorry. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Question. Theoretically, say we don't go back to school and we don't have like a formal graduation ceremony. Is there like a chance they would do one during summer or anything? Like, has that been a conversation?
It hasn't been a conversation in the district, but in terms of what I've been reading about other schools and talking and like looking at the superintendents of other schools, I think there's a lot of talk of postponing things and trying to put something together. Okay. But I think there's still, I don't know if it's naivety or positivity that people are hoping that we can ride this out and come back, end of May, mid-May, beginning May.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Like last 2 weeks of school.
Yeah, and that actually could be super fun, right? We've had this weird lockdown and weirdness, and then we get to come back and it's like 2 weeks of, awesomeness.
So I'm at work and there's puppies. That's the noises.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
there's 100 of them. So
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
How are we gonna do finals?
I don't know. There could be maybe no finals. I don't know. Yeah, I know Diego's face was like, wait, say what? What is happening? We're sharing, Jack, you're sharing we're sharing your screen, and I'm gonna unshare your screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ricky was telling me how to do a background.
Oh.
I thought I was changing my background.
No, I think you were sharing your wonderful screen with us.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is
Well, that was a nice photo.
Say what, Ricky?
This is kind of jumping back to AP tests, but like, how are they gonna prevent cheating if everything is done online in our homes?
So I think a few things. I think the questions, I don't know if they'll run it through something like Turnitin, but they've talked about using something to check for authenticity. So my guess, these are also, some of the smartest of the smart people running College Board, in my opinion. So I have a feeling they'll set something up. The other thing they may do, I'm surprised they haven't figured this out already, is sometimes you can lock screens. Do you know what you know how some of these testing programs lock your screen? So I'm surprised they didn't do multiple choice and have a lock screen, but
that's kind of what I thought it was going to be. I guess I misread their announcement because I thought it was all multiple choice, not free response.
Me too, and I reread it this morning and it said free response. The other thing that it may be is the type of question where kind of like the number 6 big question where it's using your skills, but it's not enough. Like you have to take it to that next level. And maybe, 1 or 2 of those. I don't know. As soon as I know more, I'll definitely keep you posted. So.
To address 2 of Ricky's things, for my AP, for my online calc class, I have to send in pictures of all my work, and it seems like a lot of work, but it's not that bad. It takes 5 minutes. Just email it to yourself and then download. It's really easy. Yeah, and then for the testing wise, for the class, for my final last semester, we used an online proctoring program, and it was really strict. I couldn't talk out loud. I couldn't move my head really. So I don't know, maybe they're gonna do that. It would be pretty hard to cheat. You could clearly do it, but it would be really hard to cheat using a proctoring system like that.
Yeah, and we're still waiting on the UCs, not necessarily for seniors, but almost for our other students of, are they using 4th quarter grades? How, how are the UCs going to be dealing with grades? The other thing I want to tell you, Ricky, thank you for reminding me, is that I just read online, and I haven't played with it yet, that if you have an iPhone, if you put your picture in the Notes app, and then send the Notes app, it actually uses less whatever than sending an actual picture for uploading purposes. So I just read that about the Notes app, that you could put it in there and then it's easier to upload. Yeah. All right. So you guys have my cell phone in terms of Remind app. You are welcome to text me at any time. And then I'll be using mainly Google Classroom. And as soon as I know, I will let you know on the schedule, and stay tuned. I miss you guys. I hate this very much, but, or wait, Owen, are you with Elias? Oh no, I thought you guys were together. Looked like you guys were together.
No, I'm at my house.
Okay. Well, my friends and foes, hopefully no foes. I miss you guys, and hopefully we'll be reunited shortly. And if you feel disconnected, just say, hey, Ms. Lazick, let's face to face. We'll hang out. We'll hang out with my cats. Hi, Bodie. Hearts you too. Awesome. So have a great day. Stay safe. Wash your hands. And just know I'm thinking about you. Cool. All right. Love you guys. Sasha, are you still here?
Hi.
Still here. Hi.
Yes, I'm here. So this was part of the AP packet, and when we talked about significance level when we were working on the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis unit in chapter 9 or something. And then in the packet, significance level came up in questions about regression and questions about like sufficient evidence that didn't really have anything to do with hypotheses, and it was just kind of confusing to me. Like question 17, for example, if you have the packet.
I do. So was that the one about teachers and students agree, disagree, no opinion?
Yes.
Yeah. So that one, do you notice that the information is in a two-way table?
Yes.
So that right there alerts you to the fact that this is a chi-square problem, which is in chapter 12, which we haven't met.
Oh.
Yeah, so I can tell you right now, like looking at these, the ones that we have not met, let me look at the packet. Question, well, number 4, the picture didn't come out, so my bad. Like they all looked exactly the same. Question
24.
17 for sure. Question 26. 26 is a linear regression question that won't be on the AP test, and we haven't gotten to. That's like chapter 14.
Okay.
So that will not be on there. And then chapter 24, correct, is also like the chapter 12 or 14, whatever that chapter is that we haven't gotten to. I'm looking for
36, maybe? 36, I was just...
36,
I just got tripped up on the significance level part of the question.
Yeah. So, did they not give us, oh, well, I think the significance level here on this one is that they just assume it's a 0.05 significance level. And then you were asked to find, you were given the true proportion, right? The 8.9%.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were able to find p hat, which was a 16 over 120.
Oh, okay.
And you could do a statistical test to kind of find the z-score and the p-value.
Okay, I see. That makes sense.
The wording on that question is really tricky because, and I didn't like the wording on that one, but I was able to get the correct answer by just reading really closely, recognizing, did I have sufficient evidence? Did I not? At the 5% level, and then I kind of went through which ones were left.
Okay.
And then for the free response on this, Number 1, believe it or not, that's from like chapter 3, I think. So we're
Yeah.
able to do number 1.
I reviewed. I honestly reviewed a little bit on that one because I didn't exactly remember, but then it came back to me.
And I expected, at least with this with the practice test, that you guys were going back and looking up. My goal of this is to start to see a whole test and see all the questions and go, oh shit, I don't, excuse my language, but like, oh man, I forgot that. And to kind of see where you guys are, like off the cusp, even with a week of break. And then we're gonna spend the next 3-4 weeks reviewing. So
I'm pretty relieved actually that the tests will be mostly or all free response, because I think that there's so much more room to get a better score with free response in a way. If you know the information. If you don't know anything, then it's kind of like,
Yeah. Well, there's definitely more, I would say, with multiple choice, it's right or wrong. And
Yeah.
so at least with the free response, there's area to be, to get points here or there. And hopefully, yeah, I mean, I'm hopeful too that with this scenario that the College Board will also be a little bit more flexible and generous with their scores.
Yeah.
I don't know. Number 5 on the free response, do you see how there's a two-way table again?
Yes.
That's chi-square, so you don't have the skills yet.
Oh, okay.
So number 5, I don't expect students to be able to do because we haven't learned chi-square. There's 2 different chi-square tests, and again, that won't be on the AP test now, so perhaps after the AP test, maybe we'll go look at it, because it's kind of nice for the students taking AP Bio, but the question 6 is doable. It was kind of hard. I thought it was a little bit hard, but it's doable.
There were just a lot of pieces, but
yeah,
I figured it out.
Yeah. And my goal is to spend the next few days looking at, people's response. Oh, I forgot to kind of say, hey, go do your work, go turn in your work. But I think, I want to see where people are and what's happening.
All right. Thank you for doing this, Ms. Lassick. I appreciate
Absolutely. And, stay safe, and we're all going to take this every day by day.
Stay sane.
Yeah. Yes. Stay sane, get some fresh air. If you can step outside and get some fresh air.
All right. Have a nice
All right.
day.
Well, text me if anything comes up.
All right.